Okay, Mandy, can you hear me? You can unmute yourself now if you want to, just to let me
Yes,
know.
I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful, great. I always do about a 4 or 5 minute hold, especially the first day. Anybody have any questions while we're waiting for the boxes to fill up?
I do. I just wanted to know what's the like for each week if we have a discussion, when should that be posted by, and when do you want the responses to our class?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I will go over that, when I start the recording too. But
oh, okay, cool.
But Monday, so I do recommend doing it soon after, some people will meditate every day and just listen to the recording every day, and that's great. But if you only are going to have time to do it just this once, then either, pretty shortly after you do your meditative practice, either like this evening or tomorrow, then do your post. But have it done by Monday so that then people can respond to it by Wednesday.
Okay. Like Monday of this
Next
week or of next? Okay.
Today is Tuesday, so.
Right. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Cool.
Yeah,
then
okay.
There's 2 days to respond to people.
Yeah, I mean, some people will post right away, and as I said, I do recommend that because we have a habit of forgetting, and so you might do the meditation practice and then let it sink in and then feel what you're feeling. But if you wait 4 or 5 days, you're going to forget. So
okay.
I mean, everybody has to do things according to their own schedule, of course, but yeah. Okay, I'm going to wait just another minute here. It's 9:34. A little buzz. We're fine. Okay. So there are 20 people registered, but with an online class, of course, if it's optional, we'll see how many actually come up. So it is 9:35. I'm going to go ahead and start my recording. Okay.
Recording in progress.
All right. So welcome everyone to day 1 of meditation fall semester, Northeastern Illinois University. I hope you all had a great summer. My name is Nancy Van Canigan. I'll be your guide through this meditation journey. And this meeting, as I have said in the emails and on our D12 page, is optional. If you can attend, that's great, because then we can have a direct correspondence if you have any questions. But if not, I am available via email, and I will almost always respond within 24 hours. The exception would be on the weekends. If you should email me on a Friday afternoon, like at 4 o'clock or something, then I may not get back to you until Sunday evening. Okay, but that's pretty normal. We all have to have a little bit of a personal life too. But I'm really pretty good about answering within 24 hours. So any questions that you have, please feel free to email. I also have, I'm going to go to D2L in just a couple of minutes and we'll go over the page. But I think this class I have a raise your hand discussion group also, so you can ask general questions of people in the class. Before we begin, before I share the screen and go on to D2L, does anybody have any questions? Okay, all right. So Of course, you have a syllabus, and I did post the syllabus, but I do want to just give one caveat for the syllabus. I will stick with the syllabus, but sometimes things will shift a little bit. I may add another short reading, delete one, do kind of a substitute. There's not a tremendous amount of reading in this class, but there is a bit so that we can talk about different methods of meditating. There is always a possibility that I will become ill, although I haven't been ill in a couple of years, so it's knock on wood. And in that case, things might get moved. I might not be able to do the live class, etc. So as you know, the syllabus is kind of fluid. I'm very good at keeping students apprised of any changes via the announcements, which then will automatically send an email. And then I usually will send a separate email through D2L. And also I will change things on D2L. Okay, so, and I'll announce it in this meeting that we have. So do not worry about sudden shifts and changes. Nothing is going to be sudden. But if there are shifts and changes, then I will let you know, but I don't redo the syllabus. The syllabus document will stay as it is, and that can give you kind of a guide. So look at it as a guide, and but do check it against D2L to see if there's anything that is confusing. So I have allowed 90 minutes for this class. In reality, it will probably be only 75 minutes. The last couple of terms when I taught it, we tended to go over. So I wanted to give people enough time so that as you do your scheduling, you don't all of a sudden have to go before we're done. So just as far as that goes, if we do end a little bit early sometimes, don't be like, hey, this is a joke. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. And this is a very small group. So if you feel like you want to unmute yourself and ask a question as I'm going through this, I'm perfectly fine with that. Okay, so let's do a screen share here. Okay, and we're going to go to our homepage. Okay, let me move you guys over to the side here, if you can all see. So I'm assuming most of you are familiar with how D2L works, but I try to make it a policy before at the beginning of every class to just kind of go through it. So here's the course homepage. Oops. Do I have somebody else coming? No, I don't. Okay. And as I said, I will add announcements if there is anything new that comes up. And if you have your D2L set up right, then the announcements will go right to your email. I also will send a separate email. I do communicate only through the Northeastern Illinois NEIU.edu email because if you do email me with your personal email, it often will go into the junk email. And then sometimes I don't find it. So please try to use that email if you need to get a hold of me. In addition to the Zoom meetings, I also am available for private consultation, either Google Chat or Zoom. So please don't feel like just because this is an online class that I'm really unavailable, because I want to be here for you. Okay, so I'm assuming you all read all of this stuff, and I will continue to add things. If you need to get a hold of me or of another classmate in the class list and email, you can go ahead and go down here and just check my name. If, for instance, we wanted to send an email to 3 of us, you would check those and then simply check the email, okay, and a box pops up. Okay, so that's a real easy way to do it, as opposed to typing the what am I? NLVANKANNEIU.edu. Okay. And for the course schedule, you can use that to log on, or you can simply click onto the Zoom button, and then that will take you to the meeting. Obviously, those of you who are here know how to do that. So I'm going to go to the content page here. All right. So the overview, it's an experiential class. Which is why it's important to dedicate this time either watching the recording at home or being in the meeting solely to meditation. The purpose of meditation is to try to still the mind, and in stilling the mind, we can then give a little bit more space for our focus and for our feelings of capability and our sense of confidence and all that stuff that makes life a little bit better for us. Okay. The meeting will be locked. Actually, I don't lock the meeting, but I just say that. So, but please do try to be on time because I may not let you in. I don't lock it. That is just another step I don't want to take. But if you come like 30 minutes late, I may not let you in. I do understand that sometimes people need to be 5 or 10 minutes late, and that's understandable. Things work that way. So this is just a general outline. Your attendance. How am I going to know if you're watching these? Well, actually, Zoom does give me an indication of your logging on. So that's good. I can tell if you've logged on. However, if you post in the What is Stillness discussion group, then I will also note that you watched the recording and that you have practiced the meditation. So let's go to here. Communication plan, field support. Yeah, you guys can check that. Syllabus, office hours. My official office hours are 30 minutes before this class. So I log on at 9 and I just sit here and wait for people to come and talk to me. If you do want to schedule another Zoom meeting or a Google Chat meeting, please feel free to email me. You do need to give me 24 hours notice. So, because I do have kind of a busy schedule this term, so I need to figure out a time that we can meet. Okay, so week 0. I'm hoping that you all did read the Untethered Soul, and the Beyond the Mat, chapters 19 and 21, and the How to Meditate. So what I'd like to do is to take a little bit of time to discuss those. I'm going to stop the share. Okay. And so I do desire a little bit of interaction. So I can either, it's a small group, we can all discuss together, but I would like to request that you turn your cameras on, or I will put you into breakout groups, and so then you can have your camera only on for the other person that you're talking to, and then come back and share. Okay, so are you okay with the cameras? Great. Okay, thanks so much, Jessie. And go ahead, you can go ahead and unmute yourself to Keisha. Mandy and Isabel, great. Okay, yeah. Good. And Mandy, how you doing? Do you have the camera? Mandy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right, great. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and unmute yourself because we're just gonna chat. And it's up to you. If you have a dog barking in the background, obviously you just want to mute. So I do want to ask you about the Untethered Soul, okay, which is a really wonderful book. So we will be looking at readings from a few books. This Michael Singer book, and I think that this is backwards, so you can't see it anyway. So this is a lovely, lovely little introduction to meditation. This Beyond the Mat. Now this is written by a yoga teacher. So many of the references have to do with yoga. My background is in yoga, and I came to meditation through yoga. However, we will be discussing other types of meditation beyond yoga meditation. Okay. Another book that we'll be taking a look at is by Thich Nhat Hanh, The Blooming of the Lotus, and these are actual meditations. And then I think that I have a couple of The Miracle of Mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Buddhist monk. Okay, so as far as meditation goes, how many of you have meditated? Has anyone meditate? Anyone in this group done any meditation on their own?
I mean, I've tried, but I have that really loud voice in my head, so I've always failed.
And with me, I'm easily distracted. Like the littlest thing as a pin dropping, and it just throws me completely off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm the same way. Distractions, just any little thing, I'll forget what I'm doing. Like, I won't concentrate.
Mm-hmm. Mandy, how about you? Have you tried meditating?
No, but I did yoga before in school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, yoga, meditation is actually part of yoga, but the yoga asana, the poses that you may have done in school, they can be very calming, but they're really not meditation. Now that said, almost anything can be a meditation. When people say, "Oh, I can't meditate, I can't sit still," we'll talk about a walking meditation. We'll make a mandala, which is like a coloring meditation. We'll discuss labyrinths, which you can either trace them with your fingers or you can go walk them. So there's a lot of different ways to focus the mind. And that is the key, trying to get that focus and trying to get that stillness. Everyone in the world has that voice in their head. Everyone. And so I love how Michael Singer calls it your roommate that won't shut up, because that's something that we can kind of all relate to, whether your roommate is a family member or someone who is helping you pay rent. But another way to think about that is the drunken monkey, that we have a drunken monkey inside of our head. So, okay, so I want to ask you, why do you suppose that you get so distracted? Or let me even phrase it, has there ever been a time in your life where you did not feel so distracted?
I feel like the only time that I'm not distracted is if I go swimming at the gym. That's like the only exercise I can do that that voice in my head turns off. That's like, oh my God, when is this over? That's like the most relaxing thing I can do for myself. But I don't know, I just always attribute it to I'm pretty outgoing, and I just kind of thought that I was a big talker, and that's why I was cursed with this inner monologue.
Okay, how about the rest of you? Have you ever, can you think of a time in your life, either presently or in the past, that you did not feel like you were distracted at everything? Or is there some activity that you do?
Not really. I feel like my head just keeps going. Mostly like lately, it doesn't stop where I can't just have a moment of peace.
Okay. That's not that can be a frustrating feeling. Yeah.
And I think I need to find more, since I have small kids, it's like it's always noise, it's always something going on. But now that they're able to go back to school and they're in school from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., it's more quiet. There's no one here. So I think now it's a better time for me to engage with it.
This has been such a difficult time for parents with small children. Such a difficult time. Yeah, I really, my heart goes out to all of you. Yeah. And Mandy, is there ever a time that you have felt that you are focused and you can still your mind?
I think I would say like past midnight, like when everybody's sleeping in the house. That's the time I would be able to really do any homework and stuff. So that's like when my mind is like very clear, or like later on toward when I would need to sleep, I will like stop working and stuff like that.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go back to Jesse's comment about swimming. And many of us find that a physical activity, engaging our body, will help to calm our mind, because let's face it, the mind is part of the body. And there's been an awful lot written about what is mind, what is brain, and that is something that has been discussed and debated since ancient times, really. Are we governed by something outside of ourselves, or do we have control, etc.? And that's not even the point as far as I'm concerned with meditation, but the point is that meditation is a physical activity. Okay. And if we can engage our whole body, and something like swimming, you have to. And what is one of the key things to swimming, Jesse?
Breathing.
Yep. And that's where we're going to start today, is the idea of breathing. When we want to still our mind, we do need to have some sort of an activity for the mind. It's not going to stop. It doesn't stop. Your brain waves can become very, very still. I'm sure you've seen, charts of the different levels of the brain activity. But even when the brain is very still, you're not flatlining until you are just simply dead. So, but we can get it to be very, very still with certain meditative practices. And it is a practice. It is something that you need to try to do frequently. We don't need to try to breathe. We are going to breathe. That's just a very normal thing. But our focusing on our breathing has this really remarkable way of calming the mind. In fact, once my doctor found out that I was the yoga teacher. Do I have these here? No. She gave me a bunch of handouts that she gives to her patients who suffer from anxiety and anxiety-related illnesses that are about breathing. So that's what we're going to start with today. We live in a culture that believes in the myth of multitasking. How many of you multitask?
All the time.
But you don't really multitask, because you cannot hold more than one thought in your mind. And so you can focus on one thing and then focus on another, and then go back and focus and focus and focus and focus, and you jump. Now, as a mother of young children, I'm sure Takesha feels like she's multi-focusing all the time, but that is one of the reasons that exhaustion occurs, because the mind cannot keep, handing out the graham crackers, doing the dishes, talking on the phone, doing the laundry, just all those mundane things, and then also do the planning, etc. So it's very important, particularly in our lives now, to try to find a place where we can clear responsibility, even if it's for 5 minutes a day. Okay. And then that monkey mind, that roommate is going to start chattering. But if we do, as Michael Singer suggests, just allow that roommate to be there, instead of saying, shut up, get out of here, leave me alone. Which I know when my children were small, I kind of wanted to do that, but as a good mother, I never did. And so as a result, I went back to yoga. It's actually what I did, so I did learn to meditate. So I'm happy that you all are recognizing that in yourselves. When you do sit down and meditate, allow your mind to wander. Just let it wander a little bit, and it's very helpful to have some kind of a focus. We'll start focusing on the breath. And when your mind wanders away from the breath, you can just come back to it. We'll also explore other devices, mala beads, for instance, mudras, hand positioning. So we need to give our mind something to do. So don't think about emptying your mind. Don't even think about it. You never will do it. You're not going to empty your mind, unless you get a lobotomy or something, so your mind is going to always be active. If we embrace this lifestyle of this myth of multitasking, the mind will be less effective, and it's just going to get even more agitated because it just feels like it has to keep going, but if we can allow more space in our head, and one of the ways we can do that is breathing, then your mind will be more effective. I've been teaching meditation for a long time, and I teach meditation in my yoga classes, which I also offer at Northeastern, and that is the breathing and the quietness is the single most important thing that people take away from the course. When you start to feel like you are agitated, whether you're meditating or whether you're just doing whatever you do, if you can focus on your breathing, that can help bring you back into your body. You're not just your frontal lobe, you're also all the hemispheres of your brain, your trunk, your arms, all of your senses. So let's get started. Okay. So if you want, Jesse, thank you for having your camera on. You can go ahead and turn it off if you want, but I do want to say that we're going to start lying on our backs, okay? Because I want you to focus on your breathing. Now, I of course have a big yoga room. You probably don't have that, but hopefully you have this much space. I put my yoga mat down, so you can see this is really all the space that you need. It's about 2 feet by 6 feet. Depending on how tall you are, you don't even need that much. But I'd like to begin with us lying on our backs so that we can get into our bodies a little bit. So just find a place on the floor, where you can still hear me, and go ahead and lie on your back. Give it a couple minutes to get there. And when you get onto your back, just adjust your shoulders. Maybe you lift up your hips and lower them down. Have your knees bent and your feet just a little bit wider than your hips. You can have your arms just out to the side. Notice that if the palms are up, your shoulder blades will be a little bit flatter. And you want to maintain a little bit of an arch in your cervical spine. So with your knees bent, just gently move your knees back and forth a couple times and start to feel this joint in the hips. A lot of us will get some lower back tension, and just the simple movement can help to release that. And then come back to center and just let your knees kind of TP in towards the midline. They don't need to touch. If your feet are a little wider, they won't touch. If they're narrower, they will. So go ahead and find a place that you feel comfortable. Now, if you turn your hands palms up, you'll start to open up your chest a little bit. This is another symptom of stress and anxiety, is when our shoulders lift and our chest comes up. So you can notice now, is it hard for you to drop your shoulders? And if it is, it's okay. Just forgive yourself. Try to soften the space behind your heart, and then that will let your shoulders drop. And now move your head from side to side a couple of times. And just let your head hang to one side, drawing the opposite shoulder down. And notice that little stretch over the neck. And then let your head go to the opposite side. And then bring your head back to center. So now, you move this blanket out of the way here. take your hands by the sides of your rib cage, and usually you need to adjust the shoulders a little bit. So feel the palms of your hands on your rib cage, elbows are down, and then just gently slide your fingertips together. So your middle fingers are just very gently touching. And then close your eyes. Close your lips as well. And focus on breathing through your nose. Notice the inhale. And notice the exhale. And be aware of how, when you inhale and when you exhale, if you are noticing it, the breath becomes softer, slower, smoother. So try to have your breath become nice, slow, smooth. Let's say an inhale of 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. And an exhale of 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. And as you proceed with this exercise, pardon me, try to deepen your inhale so that your fingertips will separate. You can feel your ribs expanding. And on the exhale, the fingertips come together. Inhaling completely. Exhaling thoroughly. Just stay with that sensation of inhaling and exhaling for a few rounds here. And now, as you're breathing, start to notice where you are in contact with the floor. Feel the soles of your feet. Feel the back of the hips. Notice that there is a little bit of a space above the hips, your lumbar spine, and that's great. Don't try to flatten that. Let that be neutral. Do notice if the ribs are touching the mat. And if they're not, go ahead and allow the ribs to be heavy and just to drop down a little bit. Notice the shoulder blades. And you might even add a little bit of a weight to the shoulder blades, and that will help you to expand your chest. Now notice the back of the skull, and notice that space behind the neck. Wherever you are contacting the floor, feel yourself getting heavy. And now notice the parts of the body that are not touching the floor. The front of the body, the face, the top of the feet and the hands. And feel the air circulating. Bring a sense of soft heaviness to your body. And again, if the mind starts to wander, there's that monkey mind, that chatty roommate. Just simply focus on a part of your body or on the activity of breathing. And then gently deepen your breath. maybe begin to stretch a little bit, like you're waking up from a long, deep sleep. Stretch the whole body. Then walk your feet back again. Now you've relaxed your body quite a bit. So as we come up to sit, let's roll to one side instead of pushing up to sit. And then come back up to sit. I'm gonna go ahead and pin myself here so it'll be a little bit easier. Okay. Here we go. All right. So do you all have any feedback about that? How did that feel? You can, if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jesse. Yeah.
It made me sleepy.
It made you,
Relaxing.
okay. Yeah, it made you relax, that means, and that's good. You know, so we didn't, I mean, sometimes, again, caveat, sometimes you may fall asleep when you meditate, and that is okay. That's fine. I'm not sure if it was someone in this group, but somebody in their introduction said that they took meditation in high school and it turned out to be like nap time. Was that one of you all? I can't recall who did it in the introduction. And I can totally understand how high school kids would take advantage of any sleepy time to nap because they are always, you know, overstressed, which probably you all are a little bit too. So if you do fall asleep, forgive yourself. After many of the meditations, I will wake you with these bells. It's just a very gentle sound. So when you do hear the bells, it doesn't mean, oh, let me jump up. Just allow yourself to focus on your breathing again and very slowly come back. Okay, so now I like to meditate sitting. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that I like to arrange my body. I do have a meditation cushion. I also have cushions in the back, so you don't necessarily need to have a fancy meditation cushion. If you do meditate for a while, it is nice to invest in one because they're very firm, and you know, with most cushions, after a certain amount of time spent on them, they'll start to flatten out. So this is a way that I like to meditate. If you find that your ankles start to hurt, you can take a towel, like a beach towel is really good. This is a yoga towel, and just like wrap it over your ankles. So that can be a way. You can also sit diamond pose. I also have a meditation bench, you know, which I use to help me be on my knees. And so this is how this bench works. And I'm not saying you have to buy one, but sometimes you can find them, you know, for free, or, you know, Free Cycle or Etsy or whatever. And so this helps me to sit in this way. And this is one of my preferred ways of meditating. Another way that you can do it is to, I'll come sideways here. If you come on your knees and you take a blanket and you just roll it up and put it on your calves, you can sit like this. So these are a variety of ways. And this is, my cat has kind of taken over my meditation cushion. I usually use the bench. She's on the cushion. No, I'm going to use that today. Here. So you need to move. Okay. Her name is Trudy. She loves to be on Zoom, so you'll see her a lot. You can also sit in a chair. Okay, it's fine to meditate in a chair. I do recommend that if you are sitting and meditating in a chair, that you try to be upright, okay, as opposed to slouching down. Because for one thing, that's going to make you a little bit more tired, and it's also going to impede your breathing. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. And we're going to stretch out our shoulders and our neck a little bit again. So whether you're sitting like me or whether you're sitting in a chair, do grow your spine tall. Okay, let's lift our shoulders towards our ears, move them back and slide them down. Take them forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Now keep those shoulder blades sliding down the back. Notice if you're thrusting your ribs forward. Sometimes I do that, so I'll pull my front ribs in and there's a little bit more opening in the low back. Gently drop your chin to the chest. There's a big muscle that inserts at the back of the skull, the top of the shoulders, and the center of the back, the trapezius muscle. So let that relax a little bit. Lift your face to the sky, open up over the throat and the chest. And then gently drop your chin toward the chest again. Now tick-tock your head from side to side. We'll do some slow head circles. Drop your chin, take it over one shoulder, up the side to the sky, down the other side to the chest. One more. And then 2 slow head circles, the opposite direction. Let's get back to center. Okay, why are we doing all this stretching? Because meditation is a physical activity. And if you have like a little chink in your shoulder or your neck or your hip, or you're feeling a little bit stiff, then that's what your mind is going to focus on. If we can allow ourselves a little bit of time to first notice our breath, and then notice our body, we'll be good. Okay, so first let's do a whisper breath. And we'll use the syllables sa, na, ta, ma. So we'll inhale. And then let go of the whispering and just breathe. Now those syllables are meaningless. The reason to do that is so that you can focus on your exhale. Most of the time we're very adept at inhaling, but we only exhale maybe half of what is in our lungs. So if we can get a very full exhale, then our inhale can bring in more fresh oxygen, which will, of course, help your brain and your body. So let's now do another breathing exercise that is called the 3-part breath. So sitting tall now, and again, you can be in a chair, it's fine. Just take your hands to your low belly and imagine your pelvic area is holding a balloon. Now, just as you breathe, you'll notice a little bit of movement in your hands. But when you inhale, imagine you're bringing your breath all the way down into your pelvis, so you feel your breath not only in your fingers, but in your side hips and the back of the pelvis. Breathe through your nose, please, even exhaling through your nose. Nice and easy. Nice slow breaths. Again, I recommend about 3 counts for the inhale, about 3 for the exhale. Now you can keep one hand there, and we'll take another one to our rib cage. So imagine the second balloon is in the rib cage. So inhaling, inflate the balloon in your pelvis, and now spread your ribs in 4 directions. Exhale, empty the pelvis and empty the rib cage. Inhale, fill the pelvis, fill the rib cage. Exhale, empty the pelvis and empty the rib cage. Inhale, fill the pelvis, fill the rib cage. Exhale, empty pelvis, empty rib cage. Take one hand to your upper chest and imagine there's a 3rd balloon in your upper chest. Inhale, fill your pelvis, fill your rib cage. Now lift your heart, spread your shoulder blades, feel your breath in your armpits. Exhale, empty pelvis, rib cage, upper chest and shoulders. Inhale, pelvis, rib cage, upper chest and shoulders. Exhale, pelvis, rib cage, upper chest and shoulders. Now relax your hands, close your eyes, and try to maintain that 3-part breathing. Now release the intentional breath. Just allow your body to breathe. But do notice your inhale and notice your exhale. If you hear some mental chatter, notice it. And without scolding, very slowly fill your mind with your breath. Become aware of the room that you are sitting in. Drop your chin to the chest and slowly blink the eyes open. Lift your chin. If you're sitting for even a few minutes, sometimes you can get a little stiff. So if your legs are crossed, go ahead and then cross the legs. Maybe tick-tock the legs from side to side. Maybe leaning to one side, reach the opposite arm up and stretch that side and look up. Maybe bend the elbow that's lower, get a nice side stretch. Coming back up, we'll do the other side. Okay, any feedback that you'd like to give me? How did that feel? Was it really difficult? Did it feel okay? What were the difficulties, if there were any? Or sleepy? I'm going to take that silence to mean that everybody is okay. All right. So one thing that I often do also when I meditate, and again, this is totally up to you. When you are preparing to meditate, first of all, you want to find a nice space, and then you want to find a nice seat. It's very helpful for most people to try to meditate at the same time every time they practice. This helps the body to develop the habit of meditation, you know, and there becomes this kind of expectation, like you eat breakfast at the same time, you know, you start work at the same time, you go to bed, similar time, etc. Our bodies really love regularity. So finding a nice quiet space is very important. Finding a comfortable way to sit is very important. You know, and then as another distraction, I often will burn a little incense. Now, often incense comes in sticks. This is just a little piece of sage as part of a sage bundle that I use. So the incense, the smoke from the incense, and I wish that you could smell it because this is very, very beautiful smelling sage. Obviously, I'm putting it in a ceramic little dish, so it's not going to be burning something. But the burning of the incense also helps to contribute to the calming of the mind because it engages the sense of smell. We spoke earlier, you all spoke earlier of the distractions that you feel. And that's your sense organs just receiving constantly. We don't really shut them off. We can shut it off by closing our eyes, by, you know, putting our earbuds in, by, you know, not talking, etc. Then it all goes internally. But having a smell that you enjoy, and that could be a scented candle, or you know, anything that you like. If you have some fresh flowers, put them near you. So many meditative practices will engage the sense of smell as a way of calming the mind. So those breathing practices that we use are called pranayama, or breathing practices in yoga, but they also serve to put the body and the mind in a meditative state. And in reality, whenever you are slowing down your brain, you are meditating. So if that's all you have time to do are those meditative breathing practices, that's fine. So we're going to try to do another watching the breath meditation. Okay. And I'm going to take this into a little guided meditation. Okay, so this will probably be maybe about 15 minutes. We've just done about 5-minute meditative practices so far. So go ahead and settle yourself however you want to be. And if it feels better to lie on your back, you can do that as well. I'm also going to arrange this so that you don't necessarily have to look at me as I'm meditating, but I'm going to let you take a look at this curtain that is wafting with the breeze. Okay, so we'll kind of focus here. Is that in there? Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to sit to the side so that you can still hear me. So go ahead and allow yourself to get comfortable. And let's first do a little body scan. So notice the heaviness of your hips. Notice your spine. Notice your shoulders and your chest. Try to soften the space behind your heart. Notice your neck and throat. Relax your jaw. You might even move your lower jaw a little bit. Maybe make a weird face, relaxing the muscles of the face. Relax the top of the head and smooth your forehead. And now notice that you are breathing. Notice where the breath enters the body through the nostrils, moves through the skull, down the throat, and into the lungs. And then watch the breath as it exits the lungs, moves up the throat, through the skull, and out the nostrils. Breath moving into the nostrils, through the skull, down the throat, and into the lungs. breath moving from the lungs to the throat, through the skull, and out the nostrils. Now I invite you to visualize a lake. It could be an actual lake that you've visited. It could be just some kind of an idealized lake in your imagination. And notice the surface of the lake, the waves and the ripples. Those waves and ripples are caused by the breeze. Imagine that the lake is the surface of your mind, and the breeze that is causing the surface of the lake to ripple is your thoughts. As your breath becomes more smooth, more slow, the breeze becomes slower, and the surface of the lake becomes smoother. Until there is no movement. And the surface of the lake becomes like a glass mirror. Reflected in the surface of the lake is the sky. In the sky, there are some soft clouds. Allow the breeze of your breath to move those clouds to the outer edges of the sky. And the sky becomes pure blue. The sky is reflected in the surface of the lake, blue reflecting blue. Allow yourself to stay in that pure blue space for some time. Deepen your breath. Become aware of the space around you. Notice the quietness of that space. Drop your chin to your chest and slowly blink your eyes open. And again, feel free to stretch a little bit. Maybe take your arms up, move to the side. You do a little bit of a twist. Make sure you do both directions. So that was a little bit longer. Go back to the grid here. And I'm wondering if you all have any feedback about that meditation. How did it feel? What were the difficulties?
I thought that was nice. I got really relaxed and I liked the water and kind of, I don't know, it put me in a good place. I wanted to know, like, the noise that was going on while you were doing it, was that you doing your bell?
Was that there's construction outside.
I hear it really loud the whole time and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm really sorry about that. You know,
Okay.
Yeah, that was very distracting. I'm sure that was distracting for you because they were doing some hammering.
I have the same thing in my house too.
Yeah, and that is going to be an issue until I can close all the windows. I did close the windows, but I don't have air conditioning, so you know. So yes, thanks for mentioning that. That's, you know, the big elephant in the room with these Zoom classes, right? You know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then also my cats, they decided that they wanted to participate, I guess. So I think I'm gonna have to be in a separate room.
Or they might get used to it because, you know, my cat is right here. And so she'll often, especially when I meditate, she loves it, you know, and so she'll, as I said, sit on the meditation cushion that I have, you know. So cats are better. Dogs are not so good, you know, and it depends, of course, on if you have a couple of cats, you know, then they'll react with each other. So yeah, and that's a big reason a lot of people don't meditate. The noise, you know, the distractions of other beings in the room, you know, those are big obstacles to meditation. How about the rest of you? Were you really distracted by the construction noises? Are you still there, Takesha, Isabel, and Mandy?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes,
I'm here.
Yeah. So were you able to deal with those, just kind of coming back to your breathing or to the imagery that I was suggesting?
So
Yes, and I see that when it's quiet and there's no distractions, it's more easier to be relaxed, be calm, and just be in that state for a moment.
Absolutely. Ideally, that's the best. That's why a lot of people will go to the lakefront, you know, or go to the forest preserve, or, you know, just find a quiet spot in your home. However, life does not always cooperate. And in addition to that monkey mind that we have, we also have construction noises, sirens, neighbors yelling, that kind of stuff. So the way to deal with that, if you're trying to meditate, is the same way you deal with the monkey mind or the chatterbox roommate. Allow it to be there. Just know. Now, obviously, if somebody is sawing in the room that you are in, then you perhaps need to get a different room to meditate in. But we're always going to, especially in a city, have those distractions. And if you can overcome those distractions, it will assist you in other aspects of your life. One thing that's great about these kinds of practices is that it's not only when you're on the cushion that you're feeling good, but then when you become practiced, you might get a little trigger, like you'll see a lake, and then, or even a picture of a lake on TV or something, and you'll get back into that meditative state, that you imagined. Or, if you notice your breathing and you slow your breathing, your body will respond. So remember, it is a physical thing, and it's ironic that I went through the whole smell and then we have the sound. So, but my apologies. So how was the time? How did you guys feel? Was that too long for you at this point? Because for the first day, that's kind of a long meditation.
It's okay.
I liked it. I noticed it was a little longer, but then I got into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's about just relaxing and allowing. I do suggest that you try to meditate another time, at least one more time, between this week and this meeting and next time. Now, of course, I'll have the recording. You can follow along in the recording, or you can just remember these exercises and do them on your own. And it's great to set a timer. I mean, we all have timers on our phones now. Put your phone to silence and you'll still get your little, ping, ping, or whatever your alarm is. But even if you just sit still for 5 minutes, that can really make a difference. And often when you first sit down, you'll think of all the things you have to do. And if you can get past the first few minutes, then you'll feel a lot better. It's really hard to think about meditating for like 2 hours, and that's really unrealistic. But if you can meditate for 5 or even 10 minutes frequently, a few times a week, you're going to see the results. How about the breathing? Did thinking of your breath help to bring you back to your meditative state?
I got distracted.
Definitely for me.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. That's something you can take with you in all aspects of your life. Just notice your breathing. When you're starting to feel like you want to pull your hair out, your breathing is probably going to be fast and shallow. So if you can just think in terms of, remember we were lying on the floor, and expanding and contracting and even the 3-part breath. If you think about using your whole torso to breathe deeply, that really calms your mind. Oh, and the focusing on the exhale. When you exhale, your body is giving a signal to your brain that everything is okay. So when you are starting to feel agitation throughout the day or in your meditation, sometimes people don't like to meditate because they get so agitated just sitting still. But if you can focus on the exhale, and I don't mean like kind of exhale, just inhale a nice easy exhale. You actually are sending signals through your nervous system to your brain, and it will help to calm your sympathetic nervous system, and get that parasympathetic going. We want to get rid of the fight or flight. We are a culture that thrives on adrenaline. We want to feel things strongly and feel important and do these important things. And that's great because then it allows many of us to accomplish a great deal in our lives. But if we go into adrenal overdrive, then we'll start getting the physical and psychological and emotional effects of stress. And stress, as you know, is a big issue. It always has been with human beings, but finally people are paying more attention to it. So giving yourself just some time to sit and breathe can be really, very helpful. So I'd like to end the class, we still have a couple more minutes, and do a yoga Shavasana, which is a relaxation body scan. It's not really a meditation per se, but it does put you in a meditative state, and it will allow your body to really relax so that when you are finished with this class, you will feel a little bit more energized. And we do it at the end of every yoga session, but you can do it on its own. So again, in these classes, I want to present to you different techniques that you can take separately. So if you don't have a 90-minute segment in your day throughout the week, if you just have 15 minutes or 5 minutes, you can fast forward to this or just remember it or whatever. So Shavasana is traditionally done lying on your back. It's a complete body scan that will help to really relax you and to just slow down the operation of your brain and your body. If you do not have a space to lie on your back, you can also sit in a comfortable chair. So go ahead and if you are sitting in a chair though, please don't cross your wrists or your fingers, or don't cross your legs. You want to make sure that your limbs are free. Why? Because if you are crossing your leg, pretend these are your legs, if you're crossing your knees, at a certain point, the top limb is going to be very heavy. And even though, you might say, oh, my legs aren't that heavy, it's going to give pressure, and then your mind is going to go to that pressure point. So if you can sit or lie on your back with your limbs free, your knees can be bent, you can be in the same position that we were at the beginning of the class, or the legs can be straight. You can also put a little cushion underneath your head. And then I'm going to lead you in Shavasana. And again, I'm going to give you the curtain to look at instead of me. Oh, I'm going to make it bigger too. So go ahead and get yourself comfortable. And notice your breathing. Again, notice the inhale and notice the exhale. Now bring your awareness to your feet. And feel some space between your toes. Release all the bones of the feet and ankles. Let your calves drop away from your shins. Release behind and over your knees. Let your hips be heavy. Release along the spine, the low back, mid back, and upper back. Let go over the belly and the chest. Relax your shoulders, your arms, all the bones of your hands. Hold on to nothing. Let go behind your neck and over your throat. Relax your jaw and the root of your tongue. Drop all expression from your face. Allow your eyes to sink into their sockets. And turn your gaze inward. Watch your thoughts as they drift through your mind. Observe your thoughts through your mind.
I Oh, what happened? I don't know if that didn't work.
Recording in progress.
Move slowly, fingers, toes, arms, and legs, and stretch as though you were waking from a long, deep sleep. And if you're lying on the floor, maybe hug your knees and rock to the right and to the left. Then reach one arm overhead. Roll to one side. Come up to sit. Okay. Thank you all. Please reflect on these practices and write a few words about your reflection in what is stillness. Try to get that done by Monday so that then other people can respond to your post. I think that's it. There's some readings for next week. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you. Thank you. Hope y'all I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Yes, I enjoyed
Thank
this.
you.
But thank you so much. I'll post the recording probably by this evening. for those who want to watch it.
I'm sorry I had like left the meeting for a little bit because I had Wi-Fi issues.
That's okay. That's what I figured, Mandy. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's why I had to rejoin again.
Yeah,
Thank-
that's
Recording
fine.
stopped.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye.